Oh, welcome, everybody. I'm so honored to be here with you on this journey this weekend. And it is going to be a journey together. Sometimes I find that having these experiences, these sacred weekends where we come together, I feel inclined to share very personal stories with you. You know me as the compliance queen. Today, I'm going to wear a little bit of a different crown. I'd like to introduce you to 5-year-old me. But before I introduce you to 5-year-old me, for those of you who are not familiar with my story, just want to bring you up to speed so that we can get to this place. I was conceived out of wedlock to 2 teenagers who were in absolutely no position to get married. My mother was the third of 7 children, and her father was a Mennonite preacher. My arrival was not only compromising the family standing in the community, it was also potentially dangerous to my grandfather's ability to provide for those 7 children. Not a great day in the family when they found out I was coming. Surprise. Surprise. So much so that they decided I was such a threat to their ability to provide for the family that they were going to take my mother to Mexico and attempt to have me aborted. She prayed mightily for a miracle, and the miracle occurred, and I am obviously here. Yay for that. Yeah. Oh, that worked out well in my favor. So grateful that things went the way they did for her as well as for me, for the trauma that whole experience was for her. Her parents told her that if she did not sign the papers giving me up for adoption, that they would never speak to her again. She could have nothing to do with the family, and she would not be allowed to come home to live. She was 17 years old. She did not have the option to not sign the papers. But she'd seen a miracle occur in the fact that the abortion did not go through medically, so she prayed for another miracle. This miracle was not to be. And on the last hour of the last day, she signed the papers when I was 6 weeks old. And I was adopted by the 2 most angelic, beautiful, wonderful humans that have ever walked this earth. They'd been married happily for 13 years, tried unsuccessfully to have a family, and finally they were able to adopt me when I was 6 weeks old. And those first 4.5 years of my life were absolutely perfect and glorious and beautiful. The 3 of us, my dad, my mom, and me. And yes, Copernicus called and did verify I was the center of the universe. Oh, but then tragedy struck. And all of a sudden, lesson number 1, everything we love can be taken from us in an instant when my beautiful angel mother became an angel herself and died very suddenly of a brain tumor. My poor dad, he was distraught, had no idea how to function without the love of his life, and certainly not how to raise this little almost 5-year-old child by himself. How was he going to do that? He was distraught. And in his efforts to try to surround me with love and fill my life with happiness and joy, came lesson number 2. I can still smell the coffee brewing in the kitchen on Christmas morning as I stood in the hallway of our little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Dublin, California. And I could see the living room filled with presents. Yes. Now, the beauty of being an only child is that they're all for me. There was a bike, there was a buggy, there was a big stuffed lassie thing over here. And one of the gifts in the pile of presents was this doll. But I remember what happened when I stood there. And this realization just came to me just a couple of months ago, that in that moment, standing in the hallway, looking at this sea of gifts, I developed my money story, which was that material possessions take the place of people who die. Took me a long time to figure that out. Money story. Very, very important. We are going to help you uncover your money story this weekend. So grateful for my wonderful mentor who helped me, guided me through that, because that was hard. And the moment that I realized that, I burst into tears. My husband thought I had burst into flames. He's like, "Are you okay?" But it prompted a beautiful discussion between the two of us as he shared his story with me, things I had never realized in nearly 20 years of marriage. Now I know why he has so many shoes. Your money story ties directly into your behaviors, and we may not even be aware of it. But that awareness changed everything for me. Am I spending less money? Yes, mostly. There may or may not be a stack of Amazon packages on my front porch. That's a story for another day. Money story, so, so important. Last but not least, this doll was so significant. Again, a realization that came to me just recently. She was so cool. You can't tell from looking at this picture. It was the 70s, not the best lighting and whatnot. But she had jointed arms and legs. She came with a desk, and she came with pens, and pencils. And you could put them in her hand and sit her in her little desk, and she could write. Oh. Right? I love dolls, and I was so excited because she was new and exciting and different. I didn't have a doll like this. But this was the Christmas after my mother had passed away. And one day, as I was not this happy, and she wasn't behaving, for some reason, I couldn't get her legs to work right. I couldn't get her to sit in the desk. I couldn't get the pen in her hand right. I couldn't get her to write. All of a sudden, all of these feelings, all of this anger, this rage that my mother was gone just roiled and broiled in me, and wah, they just blew out. And I took my frustration out on this poor doll. I grabbed her out of her desk, and I spanked the ever-living tar out of her. Just taking all of my feelings, all of my frustration, all of my anger, all of my pain out on this poor doll. And my dad came running in. "What are you doing? What are you doing? If you can't take care of your toys, we're just going to take this away from you. You can't have her anymore if you're not going to take care of your things." And she went to live with my aunt for about 15 years. I have learned that adult Cheryl can go back and recreate new stories for 5-year-old Cheryl. My worldview, my money story, my ability to go back and revisit my shadow self, memories that are kind of painful. When we do that in community with love and with people that we know love us, where we trust each other, where we can safely go there together, we can learn to play all 88 keys on the piano, because beautiful music is made when we love it all. The shadow self, the beautiful self, the facade that we put on every day. All of it is us. I have brought my full self here to be with you this weekend as we walk this journey together, as we experience brilliant breakthroughs. Thank you for being here with me. Are you ready to go on this journey together? Because I am ready for you.